Writing prompt number 1. A child gets her face painted at a carnival and overhears something she shouldn't. 2. A woman searches for her cat after a tornado destroys the town. 3. In a fantasy world, a young witch turns herself into a beetle but is unable to turn back. 4. A contractor decides to meddle in the lives of the family whose house he is renovating. 5. A scuba diver pushes the limit of their oxygen tank while exploring a shipwreck. 6. A crime scene investigator searches for a body in a landfill. 7. A woman finds a medieval ring in her backyard. Tell the story of that ring. 8. Set the story in a world where it is illegal to kill insects. 9. An elderly woman develops the ability to manipulate people's dreams. What does she do first? 10. After moving his elderly mother into a nursing home, a man finds something in her house that could send them both to prison. 11. In a popular vacation town, a man sells fakes and forgeries to unsuspecting tourists. 12. Two friends are hiking during a storm and one gets struck by lightning. 13. A teenager's personal diary is taken into evidence during a police raid on their parents' house. The teen decides to steal it back. 14. A college student steals their roommate's research project and passes it off as their own. 15. Create a character with your least favorite personality traits. For example, they are lazy, lack accountability, are melodramatic, or selfish, etc. And write a story that makes you sympathize with them. 16. Determined to die in space, a man dedicates his life to becoming an astronaut so that he can secretly disconnect from the shuttle and float into the abyss. 17. A small town decides to relocate several bodies in a cemetery in order to build a highway. Write a story from the point of view of the worker who's forced to dig them up. 18. A couple is going through a bitter divorce. Write a story from their cat's point of view. 19. A woman falls in love with her best friend, but they do not reciprocate her feelings. 20. A character who suffers from hallucinations must tell the police something important, but no one believes them. 21. A woman goes to extreme lengths in order to cover up the crimes of her son. 22. A teenager raised by survivalist parents has never interacted with the outside world. 23. A family with violent secrets tries to keep them from being discovered during a large dinner party. 24. Set the story in a world where it is always winter. How do they survive? 25. Set the story in a world where human taxidermy is a popular trend. 26. Write a story that takes place during the length of time it takes a third grader to feed an entire pencil through an electric pencil sharpener. 27. Set the story in a nudist colony. 28. Tell the story of the first person to drink milk from a cow. 29. An archaeologist discovers a secret tunnel system underground that appears to still be in use. 30. A food critic eats the worst meal they've ever had. 31. A teenager invents a way to transmit smell through television screens for their high school science fair. 32. A father decides to rename their children every year on their birthdays. How does this affect the children? 33. Write a story about a poisonous salad. 34. A family discovers a stranger living in their attic. 35. Write a police chase into your story where the reader roots for the criminal. 36. Set the story in a world where some people are born with poisonous barbs all over their body. 37. A mother discovers that everything their child draws come to life. 38. Set a story in the months leading up to the death of our son. 39. Set the story in a world where fire does not exist. 40. Set the story in a world where color does not exist. 41. Write a story from the point of view of the neighbor listening through the walls. 42. Write a story about a deadly virus that prevents infected patients from sleeping, so they eventually die from sleep deprivation. 43. A woman intercepts a carrier pigeon and unknowingly gets involved in an assassination plot. 44. Write a story where humans are no longer at the top of the food chain. 45. Set a story in our world except there is no moon. What is different? Think about ocean tides, darkness in the nighttime, werewolves, etc. 46. Include a scene where a character tastes chocolate for the first time. 47. Write a mystery where the only person who can solve it is the mailman. 48. Write a story where a character accidentally picks up the wrong order at a coffee shop and is now being hunted by the rightful owner. 49. Set the story in a world where it never stops raining. 50. An accountant uncovers a government conspiracy during a routine audit. 51. An alien civilization intercepts transmissions from Earth and misreads them as a declaration of war. 52. Invent the most popular holiday for a fantasy world. 53. Write a story about a young couple trying to catch a rat in their garage. 54. Write a story where a character keeps trying and failing to wake up from a lucid dream. 55. Write a story using only dialogue. 56. Write a story about the event that makes a priest lose their faith. 57. Write a story where a character suffers from cute aggression and can't control it, so they become violent every time they see something cute. 58. A character finds a body while renovating their basement. 59. A nervous teenager always checks behind the shower curtain before using the bathroom. One day, a person is hiding there. 60. A stressed mother keeps failing to get their picky-eating child to eat anything. 61. A private detective slowly realizes that their client is the criminal. 62. In order to lengthen the workday, the government decides to lengthen the weekdays to 28 hours instead of 24. 63. A teenager discovers that her older sister is adopted and decides to use the information to her advantage. 64. An elderly woman is overwhelmed by the number of cats on her property and must decide which ones to keep. 65. Write a story where a child struggles to keep a secret. 66. In order to prevent a zombie apocalypse, the government decides to dig up every cemetery to incinerate all the bodies. 67. Write a story where a character finds a note attached to a balloon. 68. A suburban dad sets off fireworks in his backyard, but everything goes horribly wrong. 69. A family of raccoons terrorizes a local bakery. 70. Write a story where sibling rivalry turns deadly. 71. Because purring is found to stimulate healing in humans, cats are rounded up and forced to purr in facilities. Write a story about a character who decides to free them. 72. Write a story from the point of view of someone who has lost their sense of taste. 73. A character discovers an old speakeasy behind a false wall in their basement and decides to reopen it. 74. Imagine a modern society where the wheel was never invented. 75. Write a comedy about a teenager going to extreme lengths to get out of taking a test. 76. A father decides to raise his children believing in magic, but struggles to keep up the ruse the older they get. 77. Write about a character who struggles to get their emotional needs met and thinks the only way to do so is by making people feel bad for them. 78. Write the origin story for a superhero named Lizard Man. 79. Write a story about a character who is smaller than a dandelion. 80. An ancient civilization is discovered at the bottom of the ocean and it's still filled with bodies. 81. A judge is being blackmailed into letting criminals off. 82. A child skins their knee for the first time and realizes they are actually a robot. 83. An inventor who has spent his life inventing useless gadgets finally creates something useful and finds themselves targeted by the government as a result. 84. Write about the first successful brain transplant. 85. A character discovers a telephone in an antique shop that can make calls to the past. 86. A teenager follows a fox through a cemetery and stumbles upon a secret society. 87. An amateur scientist tries to drill into a dormant volcano in order to create an eruption. 88. A bored waitress decides to spy on a regular customer, but following them home leads to secrets she doesn't know how to keep. 89. Write a story where most animals are still the size of dinosaurs. 90. Write about a character that is so terrified of heights that they are unable to even look up at the sky. 91. An elderly man realizes all of the objects he's found while metal detecting are connected. 92. An eccentric director writes an entire play in order to communicate a secret message to someone in town. 93. Write a story set in the modern world where spices and tea are still our most valuable commodities. 94. A writer has such bad writer's block that they decide to steal someone else's manuscript in order to meet their deadline. 95. Write about a character who slowly starts hoarding until their house is unlivable. 96. Write a story where everyone is lying and the reader has to uncover the truth. 97. Write about a character who struggles to find a spouse due to their extensive doll collection. 98. Write about a vigilante that the government has decided is allowed to continue. 99. Write about a scientist who discovers a new type of math. 100. Write a story about an 8-year-old's biggest regret. 101. Write about a character who only communicates via song. Happy writing!